Hello, my name is Autumn Scott, and this is my oral essay for blog post number 3. So, I will be focusing on two readings, one being Illegal People by David Bacon, and Refugees or Economic Migrants: The Debate Over Accountability in the United States by Maria Cristina Garcia. So, first I'll just kind of summarize the first one, Illegal People. So, this one is more focusing on NAFTA and how that agreement, as well as the United States, affected Mexicans, and how a lot of the subsidies that were involved with NAFTA hurt the Mexican farm workers because they were unable to basically make money from their farms, and they weren't able to support their families, so they had to move other places in order to get money and to support their families. So this has a lot to do with reasons for immigration to the U.S., and I think that's what this touches on, illegal people. And I think this, like the subtitle of this reading, it says how globalization creates migration and criminalizes immigrants. So I think that's a pretty good summary of what this reading has to do with. So the next one, Refugees or Economic Migrants. So this one has to do more with Nicaragua and how basically how the U.S. affected not only Mexico but Central America as a whole, and how we went in as a government into Nicaragua and we started doing things that displaced a lot of people. And then when they were asking for help, we basically turned our backs on them and basically acted like the things that they were going through weren't our fault. And so this just talks a lot about like changes to US policy and like what the US government was thinking. And then also it gives a perspective into what it would be like to live there as a Nicaraguan, and how it's very unfair that these things were happening to them because of an outside source, and then that outside source is not willing to help them even though they're the ones that caused the problem. So that's actually the reason why I chose to do these two readings together, because that right there is what relates the two of them for me. So the first reading and the fact that NAFTA was created by the US government and caused a lot of problems for people in Mexico, specifically Mexican farm workers. And even though our government caused this problem, when they were turning to us for help, we don't give it to them, and we basically shun them or look at them as being illegal people, or like basically, yeah, criminalizing immigration, even though it's kind of our fault that they're trying to move here in the first place. And you could say the same thing with Nicaraguans, because a bunch of people were displaced from that country, from their homes, from things that we were doing like mining or digging for resources or whatever. And when they needed help from us, because we're the ones who caused it, we basically told them no. And a lot of people argued that the immigration policy already favored them, so that they didn't need extra help. And I think you could make this same argument for Mexican farm workers as well. I think a lot of people were kind of, I don't know, on the fence, I guess you could say, because of the whole bracero movement and how we kind of allowed like legal immigration for a while to have these workers like come work for us. And then people got really scared because they thought that it was causing a lot of illegal immigration and that these people were going to, I think the fear is that these people are going to come in and like take over our culture and like they're an economic burden. And so I think that has a lot to do with how Nicaraguans and Mexicans in these two readings are very, very similar. And in my opinion, it just shows that history repeats itself. And I think that the United States government, the officials within this government body, really need to sit down and look at the history and realize that a lot of this stuff has happened before. And they really need to critically think about ways that they can make this better and not have this repeating cycle. Because if this keeps going, it is going to cause major problems for us as a country, as well as these places that we are, you know, getting involved with, I guess you could say. So we need to figure out how to help them without hurting them. And we need to figure out how to basically accept these people if they need help. And we need to figure out how to do that in a way that is economically sound for us as Americans as well as the world, which I know is a really big task, but I think that it's important enough that it needs to be deeply considered. Okay, so this video is almost 7 minutes and 30 seconds long, so I'm going to stop it. Thank you very much. Again, this is Autumn Scott for blogpost3 oral essay. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.